Hi folks, Duncan here from CapitalQ. In part one of this series on the real consequences of having overdue tax returns, I discussed some of the more tangible short to medium term consequences. In this part two, I want to touch on some of the more intangible consequences. So firstly, I want to draw a bit of a long bow here, but I actually liken the whole situation of people with poor tax lodgement histories with the ball tampering saga in the cricket recently. Now, in both cases, I feel that perhaps the relative weak enforcement of the rules and laws and the often soft and subsequently revised down consequences of wrongdoing gives individuals a false sense of security. Now, I don't necessarily mean the cricketers nor most taxpayers make a conscious decision to do the wrong thing because they think the consequences aren't that bad, though I'm sure that actually does happen. But I think more subconsciously, they don't have the fear of the potential consequences that maybe they should. That then clouds their thinking and they don't realise how bad their decision making is until it's too late and they find out the very hard way. Now, that is not to say you can't ever recover from a bad record with the ATO, the same way I'm sure at least some, if not all, of the cricketers involved in Sandpapergate will recover and go on to have very good careers and probably even regain their standing with the public and the riches that come with that. But you would much rather not have to go through that building process. So if you are in the position of a bad lodgement history, don't underestimate the damage it is doing to firstly your happiness and secondly your health and then to your future prospects. Whether you acknowledge it or not, even if you don't admit it to anyone, even if you won't admit it to yourself, it will always be in the back of your mind and it will jump to the front at the most inopportune times. It will be adding to your stress levels and blood pressure without you even knowing it. You will be in a constant heightened state, and because that will develop over time, you won't even know it is happening. And the damage outside of dollars and cents and court proceedings, etc., may well be occurring and building, and you may well only learn about them once it is too late. Then you do need to consider the impact on your ability to do business, invest, borrow, and achieve your goals into the future. Again, problems with the ATO don't necessarily have to be fatal, but they will result in unforeseen pain and do require a healing process. Of course, your standing with the ATO will be impacted, and that impact will have a bearing on any dealings you may need to have with them in the future, at least into the medium term. If you need to negotiate a payment plan in the future, and sometimes there are very legitimate reasons why you may need to do so, then it is going to be harder to get approved. And even when you do, they're going to watch it much more closely, and if there is a problem, they will act much more swiftly and more aggressively. A similar thing will occur if you are even reviewed or audited. While past lodgement problems shouldn't have a direct impact on the matter being looked at, you will be assessed as higher risk, meaning they will look more closely than they otherwise might. Of course, the individuals working on your case will also just naturally take a more wary approach to you, and whether that is technically right or not, or allowed or not, no matter how many policy guidelines government bodies put in place, at the end of the day, it's still people who make all the final decisions, and people have subconscious biases and instincts which you can't control. Borrowing money from the banks and other lenders will also become more difficult, more and more, especially with what is going on right now with the Royal Commission. The banks are asking for more information and digging further, including requesting further information about your tax affairs and history. ATO issues can very easily result in declined loans. The banks naturally enough view them very poorly, or at best they could result in a higher risk rating against you and therefore a higher interest rate. The last thing I want to mention is that if we are being frank, having a poor lodgement history with the ATO is a clear sign, excuse the French, you don't have your shit together. And if you don't have things together, how can you possibly hope to get ahead in life, to be a financial success, to be a successful business owner? There are a lot of moving parts to building wealth and in particular building businesses. So if you can't even get your tax returns sorted, how do you hope to get all the rest of the important things sorted? Even if by being sorted, that means letting them be outsourced, because you can very clearly outsource getting your taxes in order. So if you have financial and a prosperous lifestyle ambitions, this is the wrong way to go about it. Of course, there are plenty more potential consequences which most taxpayers never consider until it happens. So rather than harp too long and make anyone with some outstanding returns get even more stressed, I will just repeat the line I previously stole from the TV series Billions. Sometimes the worst thing happening isn't so bad. So get your lodgements in order, and then let's sort out any tax bill you may have, and let's lift the weight from your shoulders, get you back on track for the future lifestyle you desire and deserve. We've just released 2 groundbreaking new resources for smart, ambitious business owners and serious private investors. The first is our free downloadable report entitled The Business Owners and Investors Due Diligence Checklist. It provides you the 7 critical questions you must ask your accountant and advisor to ensure you have the right one to help you pay less tax, build genuine lasting wealth, and just stay out of trouble with the ATO. It also includes 9 wealth building strategies we believe most accountants never reveal to their clients because they don't know them themselves. The second is our complete guide entitled The Savvy Business Owners and Investors Guide to Choosing the Right Accountant and Advisor for Today's Economic Climate. It includes the due diligence checklist and the 9 wealth building strategies, plus a whole lot more educational information to help you make the right decision. We can send you the complete guide, including audio CD, for free via express post so you can have it tomorrow. Just follow the links at the end of this video or below if watching on YouTube to access the free report or the free guide or both.